Hi there, Sakiba Johnson. I'm the writer of The Protector's Child of the Prophecy, and I got a very interesting question this week that I wanted to share with you guys, and it inspired me to do this origin video. Okay, so my question was, what inspired you to write The Protectors? Okay, so The Protectors was an idea that I had, oh gosh, like maybe 12 years ago. I, 12 years ago is when I started writing The Protectors. I know that is a long time for a book, but just pay attention and listen and you'll understand why you just now getting a chance to read it. So 12 years ago, I was inspired to write this book. And it was, the inspiration came because my dad and I were spending a lot of time together. And at the time, he asked me, "Is this what you want to be doing with your life?" Because I was working a decent job. I liked my job and I liked where I was and everything like that. But I really didn't have a thing that was me. Um, I had stopped painting and I had stopped singing and I stopped doing all those things like that I like to do, and that included writing. And so when he started asking those tough questions that leads to you to really, really ponder your life and think about re-illustrating your whole world. Those big questions. Um, and that was one of those big questions. So I said I always wanted to be a writer, and he would be like, "Well, why the hell ain't you writing?" Because that's how he talked. He just talked straight out. And why the hell you ain't writing? And I'm like, because, hey, I'm grown and I'm being responsible. And he kind of just reminded me, but um, that you have a responsibility to yourself and to your dreams too. And that responsibility is part of what you're supposed to let your family and the people that you love and the people in your life see. You have to let your family and the young people in your life and your children see you building your dream. You have to let them see you be inspired. And that was what my dad was trying to get over to me. Let them see you be inspired. Let them see you set a goal, and then I'm not going there. My camera person, I'm not going there. Um, I'm sorry. Stuff is happening on the other side of the camera. I'm not gonna say nothing. Um, and see you, what you do with that inspiration and how you let your inspiration fulfill you in life. Find out what your goals are. Strive for your goals. Meet them goals. Build new goals. And these people in your life, these people you're trying to be responsible for, you know what I mean? Let them see what responsibility really is. It's about building your tomorrow. Let the young people see you build a tomorrow for yourself and for them. Do something big with your life so they see that life ain't about just going through all these motions that we're trained to go through like some little pug. You know what I mean? Don't be a pug, be a thug. And by thug, I mean take your fist and fight for what it is you really want to do with your life. Okay? Get out there, dream big, and fight for it. That's what I mean. So, I, my dad was constantly saying, "Hey, what do you want to do with yourself? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And I was all like, yeah, okay, I can write a book. I can totally write a book, you know. And I started writing The Protectors. And writing the Protectors, me and him was kind of writing it together. He had kind of the same writing kind of spirit as I did, and he was somebody that could listen to me as I was getting these ideas, because I'd only written short stories prior to that. So he was able to help me go all the way with my detailing and everything, and we would talk about books and different things like that. We didn't have the same style in books, but he can understand a good story because he was an avid reader. And so, yeah, so he was my first fan, and he was real old school. I remember the first time he called me from his cell phone. He cray cray. He was cray cray. He called me from his cell phone and said, "Baby girl, I'm calling from a phone." I said, "Yeah, Dad, you live in another state. I know you're not on the porch hollering." He said, "No, I'm calling you from a pocket phone." I had to pull my phone away from me and look at it like, this man is cray cray. Did he just say a pocket phone? So he was so excited he had a cell phone, a pocket phone. And so I said, way to go, Dad. So he set up his voicemail, right? I called him and was like, "Hey, Dad, am I your friend?" I called him a couple of times. And when you call somebody and they're not there, you what? Leave a message. Well, he hadn't learned how to check his messages yet. So he calls me back a few days and says, "Quit leaving messages on my pocket phone because I don't know how to check them." And it keeps beeping at me. I was like, so I had to look at my phone again and be like, this man is out of his mind. He is not ready for he is not ready for this new world. Yeah, pocket phone. I'm calling you from a pocket phone. It is a pocket phone. You stick it in your pocket. So he was so happy with his little flip phone, and he was being very modern. He was a modern Renaissance man. Oh, I love you, Dad. He sure enough called it a pocket phone. So anyway, him and his pocket phone, he would call, and I would call him on my pocket phone, and we would talk about the book, and you know, I would read him chapters. I would read him for 20 and 30 minutes at a time. I literally read him the whole book, and he would be like, "Well, wait, well, what about this part? Well, that doesn't actually make sense. Well, what you should, and he would like he would ask questions that would make me answer it in the book. And that's how I was learning how to put more detail in my book, because he was asking questions. And I was realizing I had ideas in my brain that I wasn't putting on the paper. Okay? So, me and, my pocket phone and my dad were figuring out how to write a book. Well, we got almost to the very end, one chapter from being done, and he not decided, that's not right for me to say it that way. He passed away. If he could have not passed away and seen it through to end, he really would have. But I think at the end, he was tired and ready to go. So he passed away. That was very upsetting for me. And I kind of tucked the Protectors away and really didn't deal with the Protectors very much anymore. It was still heavy on my heart to publish the book, but I just didn't do anything else with it at that time. But I decided he was right. I do need to start living my dreams. One of the other things he inspired me to do before he passed away was run. I used to run when I was a little kid. I remember being on the city teams when I was a little kid, and I remember running track in high school. I was like getting my run on. I wasn't playing, but I forgot how much I loved it. So when he died, he had the last thing we had watched together was the New York Marathon, and then he passed away. So I was like, okay. And I remember him talking about, you should run a marathon. Now, I was not in nobody's marathon kind of shape, so I thought he was trying to be funny. And he said, it ain't over till you're dead, because that's how he talked. It ain't over till we're dead. He just said it like it is. And it's true, it wasn't over. So when he passed away, the first thing I did, now you have to know, I didn't know how long a marathon was. I didn't know that people ran 26.2 miles straight without going home and taking a nap, or stopping and getting something to eat and having a salad and resting and whatnot. They just run 26.2 miles. To me, that is cray cray prior to having running it. So I booked myself for a marathon. And I'm one of those people, if I put my money on it, I'm going to see it through to the end. I'm not going to waste my money. So I put my money on it and booked myself to run in my first marathon. Okay? Then 20 minutes later, I said, well, how far is a marathon? Ain't it pretty far? So I went online after I've already paid my money to run in this marathon, okay? I go online and it says 26.2 miles. And I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, Daddy, what was you thinking? Daddy, did you know it was 26.2 miles when you told me to do it? So I thought about it and I said, but you know what? I remember running across town, okay? I remember running like super duper far. So I went back and now you can do that, So I went back and kind of mapped it out and was like, I've run about 15 miles straight before. So I've done like a half a marathon and then some. I could do 26.2. I had only given myself a few months to prepare for it. So I just started running. I just put on some shoes, started running. I ran my first marathon. My feet swelled up to the size of 2 watermelons. When I crossed the finish line, I was so happy I was crying. When I crossed the finish line and they throw the medal over your neck and they say your name is Akiba Johnson with her best, I was like, ugh, and I started crying and it was so exciting. And I was like, yeah, you were right, Dad. I should run a marathon. This is me. And I kept running them. 20 marathons later. Yeah, 20 marathons. Because I'm a thug, not a pug. I ain't finna be led around on a leash. I'm all like, boop, boop, like me, like me. My camera person is looking at me like, you're losing focus again. I know, but this is my origin story, not yours. Can I get a what? So, anyway, back to the origin of the book, not the marathon. So I wrote the book and stopped when he passed away and started writing other stuff. Tucked that away. And then I just started writing books and short stories and books and short stories and not doing anything with my books. I was just writing them for I don't know what. One day I was going to publish them. And then when I finally entered the next stage in my life and had about 4 or 5 books done, I said, I came across the next person who inspired me, and that person told me, are you a writer if nobody can read your book? And I was like, is this one of those trees falling in the forest thing? But it kind of got me thinking, and all good questions should make you think. Um, and the answer should inspire you to greatness. All great questions should inspire you to greatness. So what I did was pulled out the book that I was working on and started tweaking it and decided what's the best way for me to go about publishing. Decided to publish with Amazon after looking at several different things. And after I did all that, I kind of paused and couldn't figure out why I wasn't going to the next level. The next level was sending the book in and getting it published through Amazon. When I couldn't figure out why I wasn't doing that, I sat down with myself and kind of just try to figure me out. And then it hit me. My first book was supposed to be The Protectors, Book 1, Child of the Prophecy. I always wanted that to be my intro into the literary world. So I went in my underwear drawer where you hide stuff and pulled out an old what is it called, a zip drive. Pulled out an old zip drive and put it in my computer, and there was The Protectors sitting there waiting for me 6 years later. And I pulled it out, put it on my computer, ran it through all my editing software, and realized it was ready to go. It was ready to be released. It was done. So I took about 2 weeks later, I was sending it in to Amazon. I was sending it in to Amazon to let that be my first book to be published. So that is what inspired me to write The Protectors. I wrote that book with my dad. He was kind of my inspiration and the person who kept propelling me forward and making me answer those tough questions. So it's only befitting that that be the first book that that was published by me. So I just wanted to make this super duper extra long video that I'm not even sure if anybody will watch the entire thing. You might get bored and be like, oh my gosh, halfway through it. But I feel like I needed to just tell that story as to why The Protectors is my first book, and why this book means so much to me. Because it is the origin story of maybe how I want things to be and how I look at the world. And how I really want us to treat each other and how I want us to be as a human race. And maybe it's about seeing those challenges and realizing that they're not really challenges, they're just opportunities to get you to your dreams. All those things and whatever, it's just a way for you to reach your destiny. So many ways what you want it to be when you grow up, a lot of times we get so far from that. And I'm not saying that you can't change what you want it to be, but I'm just saying don't ever forget to live your dream. It might make you run a marathon, climb a mountain, you know, bungee jump. It might make you do something that takes you that much closer to saying, I am as alive as a person can be. By the way, I liked rock climbing. It's fun. Marathon running, the most awesome experience in the world. And some of the most beautiful people running beside you. Um, because there's a certain truth when you're running 26.2 miles. Okay? You feel like you get to know a person's spirit when you're running with them. And yeah, you do actually chat during marathons. Yes, you do chat during marathons. I mean, unless you're trying to, you're in Olympic trials or something. But yeah, you do chat. You meet people at in those corrals before the race and whatnot. And yeah, I've been in I've been in those big marathons where there's 20,000 people running down the street. I even ran as a Elvis. There you go. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah, my camera person is like, I didn't even know that. Well, thug life. Now you know. Um, Anywho, that is my origin story. I wrote The Protectors with my dad, and it's befitting that it is the first book that got out there, because it's the first book. It's the first book that I wrote. It's the first book that I wrote, even if it was long time ago, and it's been complete for years and years and years. Um, but um, I hope that you read it, and I hope you think that it was worth waiting those years for. And I hope that you find people in your life to ask you those tough questions, and that make you think, and that make you want to re-illustrate and re-orchestrate and reimagine your life, so that you are inspired to do great things, or are inspired to do what you think you're supposed to be doing with your life. Whatever it is you think you're supposed to be doing with your life, be a thug about it, not a pug about it. I love pugs, but when I say don't be a pug, be a thug, what I'm saying is don't be led around by a leash and try to fit into what society say you're supposed to be. Okay? Be the person who break through, who shatter the walls and bust out, and just be like, I'm going to be a beast about whatever it is I'm trying to do. Like, I'm going to be like bamming on my chest, but I'm a girl, so that might hurt. But I'm going to be like bamming on my chest, not for real, but for pretend. Ooh, I'm bamming on my chest for pretend. Woo! Because I'm like, I'm strong. I actually do kind of have a muscle. You can't tell what I do. But just, I'm a beast about it. I'm like thugging it up and stuff. And you guys don't even know, but I actually do know martial arts and can probably, yeah. But, just be like, thug it up, buff it up, be a thug. Stand in front of a blank wall and take pictures of you squatting down, making a mean face, and be like, yeah, I'ma be a computer programmer. Fool, you ain't even know. I'ma be a writer. Yeah, man. You ain't even know. Because I'm a gangster. and you didn't know that, and be like, but thug it up and get in front of there and be like, ugh, because sometimes you have to sell your dream to yourself. So get in front of a wall and make some poses and make a squinchy face and be like, yeah. Be like, yeah, I'm a writer. What? I can draw. What? What? Give me a pencil. You didn't even know. Give me a pencil. And start doing whatever you dream you ought to be, and do it like a beast, and do it like a thug, and make your fist and be like, yeah, man, and bay. Look at, I'm learning all kind of, yeah, and be like, what? Because I've been watching Empire. And sometimes you just have to, like, go after your dream like a thug. Be like, what? Sometimes you just need to stand there in front of the mirror and put up your dukes and say, I'm going to do what I need to do to be a blah, 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 blah. Okay? And it doesn't matter what it is you want to be. If you want to be a nurse, get in front of the mirror and say, okay, I need to learn how to stab a person with a needle. But whatever it is you want to do with your life, even if it's being a librarian, even if it's being a genealogist, even if all you really want to do is be a waitress, be a thugged out waitress. Do it to the fullest of your ability, and do not let anybody hold you back, and do not let anybody tell you you cannot be what it is you want to be. And surround yourself with people who constantly say, what do you want to be when you grow up? Okay? People who constantly ask those questions that make you dream bigger. Ask those questions and you get those answers. So sometimes you need those people to ask those questions. And sometimes those questions make you mad right then. And you be like, how he gonna sit up there and ask me what I want to be when I grow up? I'm grown. Maybe you're not as grown as you think you might ought to be. Hey, my name is Akiba Johnson. I wrote The Protectors. And my dad, William, inspired me, helped me, and made me question a lot of stuff. I hope you find people in your life that help you question, that help you feel inspired. And I hope, my dream for you is that you try not to live life as a pug, and that you live it as a thug, fighting for your dreams, being inspired, and being willing to train and do what it takes to reach whatever your goal might be. All right? Because sometimes you do have to hustle for yours. You take care, dream big. Oh, yeah. Live long and prosper.